Hello everyone, this is Dr. Clarice Fluitt, and I am really blessed to have the opportunity to share with you today some things that I believe will not only inform you about some marvelous things, but it'll also serve to transform you, because we are very interested in having confidence for living wealthy. It is an important thing. You know, when you begin to look up the definition of what wealthy is, it's to have an abundance of natural things, but also you can have an abundance of wealth. You can have an abundance of wisdom and experience. All kinds of things can come in. But today we're going to be talking about having the confidence to believe that you can be wealthy, not just everybody else, but there will be some things that you will learn today in these seminars that are just going to give you some tools and some little nuggets to say, I think I'll embrace that. I think I will make that mine. You know, years ago, I heard a little joke, and that it's just been part of my understanding about wealth. And the story was that this gentleman had great wealth. He had great money, let me say that, but wealth is not just about money. You know, wealth is about a whole lot of different things. But he really loved his money, and he put it in the bank, and he never made a withdrawal on it. Do you know, if you're going to be a wealthy person and you're going to have great financial return, you're going to have to understand the purpose of your wealth is not only to change your life, but to change the lives that are all around. And this man had saved over $50 million and had it in the bank. And then one day, he decided he was going to make a withdrawal. And he went to the bank, and he was a grumpy old fella, and he went to this young lady that is a teller, and he said to her, I want to withdraw all of my money. I'm ready to get it. And she said, well, sir, she said, you have $50 million. Do you have the confidence to be able to handle just $50 million in cash? He said, it's my money, and I want it, and I want it today. And he was totally unreasonable. He had saved all the money. He had it judicially, had it legally, but he had deposited into a safekeeping where it wasn't doing him any good, and it wasn't doing anybody else any good. Now he comes in and he makes a demand that he wants his money, and he wants it right now. Well, the young girl, she was not experienced with working with people like this, and she said, well, sir, you do have the money, and you're going to have to write me a check, well, not to her particularly, but to write a check on his bank account so she said, you're going to have to sign this check so I can turn it back over. And he said, what do you mean sign the check? She said, you're going to have to endorse what you say that is yours. And he says, no, I'm not into endorsing. I'm not going to sign anything. The money is mine, and I want it. You see, he wanted the benefit, but he didn't want to follow the procedure. You and I have to understand we can have all the confidence in the world to be wealthy, but that if you want the benefit, there's a procedure that you're going to have to embrace also. Well, this old fella, he said, no, I'm not signing anything. I just want my money. She said, you have the money. It is yours, but you're going to have to sign a check. You're going to have to endorse. And oh my goodness, he was just upset. And so he left and went to another bank. Well, you know, you can go to all the banks in the world, but you have to be a branch bank. You're going to have to go where the money is. You've got to understand how this thing about finances works. And so he was sincere. He had the money deposited, but he did not want to do what was necessary to get that money out. I believe today you're going to learn some things about wealth and the understanding I can make a withdrawal into the very universe of wealth and draw it to myself, but I've got to learn how to endorse. I have to learn how to take legally that which is mine and be able to utilize it for something positive. Well, he went down, and this time he was in such a upset about it. This is mine. You know, I believe that there is great wealth that is available. I don't believe that there is any shortage of money. I don't believe there's any shortage of talents or gifts or ability. but we get ourselves all twisted up on how we think this is supposed to work. So the gentleman goes in same scenario, but this time he's got a teller fellow that's been around a while, and he goes through the same thing. I want my money. And the old teller looked at it. He says, it is yours. You can have it, but you are going to have to sign a check. You're going to have to endorse the fact that you are withdrawing that money today. The old man says, I don't care what you say. I'm not going to endorse. Well, rather than trying to explain it to him, the teller reached up and grabbed the man by the hair of the head, pulled him up, and went bam, bam, bam on his head. And he said, sign that check. And of course, with blood dripping down his head, he reaches up and he decides, if it's really part of the procedure, now I feel led to do it. You know, I am hoping that we can say some things to you today that's going to cause you not to be hard-headed. There are things that you can have. There's benefits that are there. But there is a procedure that you're going to have to endorse. You're going to have to get a hold of it and say, if I want the benefit, I can do all the saving, I can do all the work, I can do all the right things, but there is a way that these things work for you. Well, this time the man jumps up and after having a big knot on his head and decides to sign the check. He gets the money and he is just so excited with a big knot on his head, he can't wait to go back and tell the young girl, I got my money. So he's got his big money, and he's walking down with a knot on his head, and he turns to the girl and he says, I got my money. She said, did you endorse the check? He said, yes, I did. And she said, sir, I would have given you your money if you had just signed the check here, if you'd have just endorsed the check. He said, yeah, well, that other guy explained it to me. Unfortunately, there are people that are listening today, there are people all over the face of the earth that they want the benefit of wealth, but I'm telling you, they are hard-headed. They keep doing the same thing all the time, and it's not working. You know, if you just read about wealth, and it says here, it's a noun, and it speaks of an abundance of wealth. Valuable things come to you. You have an abundance of that, and that whether it's money or it's real estate, where things that are an abundance. Did you realize, I've just been studying this, and I realized that less than 1% of people over 65, 1% reach 65 that are really wealthy, that they are fixed and they don't have to worry about old age. They don't have to worry about that because they made some wise and prudent decisions. And my hope is for you to make some wise and prudent decisions, that you are going to say, I am going to find out the language that is necessary for me to talk. I'm going to have to find out that, you know, that when we talk about wealth and we talk about the abundance of things that we have, that you can begin to say, I am a candidate. I am teachable. I am amenable. I am to the place that I'm going to look into those lives of people that have resources, find out what they did in order to get it, to have the confidence to live wealthy. I am at the stage of life that I'll soon be 78 years old, and I find myself in a situation as I'm a real estate owner, I'm a subdivision divider, I'm an individual that has come to the place in life where I realize that money has to be a tool, not just for me, not just in the things that I do, but that I have to be able now to be able to show other people what I'm doing that's working effectively. I'm finding out as a motivational speaker that you begin to encourage people to make wise and prudent decisions. You have poor people, you have people that are middle-class people, and you have wealthy people. And we're finding out that just when you begin to study the habits of people that don't have a lot of money, when they get money, whether it's on welfare, whether it's a job that doesn't pay well, the majority of people, they do not save anything. They will buy foolish things. They will buy things, whether it be a video game or things of that nature, and they lose their money. They never are able to build up on it because they don't understand how money works. And they find themselves not putting away anything, paying themselves and being a part of doing that. There's so many incredibly wonderful plans that are out there to help you manage your money. You can go online, you can find things, or you can read Dr. Keith Johnson's wonderful new book on the confidence for living wealthy. Not just getting money, but for living wealthy, making the right decisions, not being hard-headed, not spending your money on foolish things, coming to the place. I had to find in my life, and when I was younger, we used to do that. We'd get a payday and it was just a heyday. Let's go to the movie, let's get a pizza, let's do this. And then of course you sow to the wind and you reap the whirlwind. So I wanted to encourage you today, while it is still called today, get the nuggets of being able how to pay yourself, write yourself a check and say, in 5 years, I'm going to cash this check. And you begin to make wise and prudent decisions, knowing that it is the will of God that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. So I want to thank you for your kind attention of listening. I thank you that you're teachable. I thank you that you are going to learn some great things, and you're going to get Keith Johnson's new book. I thank you so much for your kind attention.